Hello and welcome to the Mal&Johnny Show. We're back in the studio today after listening to Elio Pace last week at the Wales Millennium Centre. And Johnny, you've had a particularly busy week this week with the doctor.
Yes, I've been to not only the doctor, the optician this morning.
Right.
My usual checkup. Because I don't know if you know this, but I always wear contact lenses.
Oh,
okay?
no, I didn't know that.
Because I can't walk about with glasses on. It makes me feel dizzy and I want to fall over.
Right.
I've got a pair of glasses, which I use when I'm watching telly.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but because I want to read and look long distance, they gave me one for the left eye, which is the reader one,
Right.
and one on the right eye, which is long distance one. And the brain takes over. Don't ask me how it does it, but normally I don't know I'm looking through one eye, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no.
So when I'm reading, the left eye's doing it, and when I'm looking forward, the both. Anyway, so I went to this one, and she said, "Look, I can't make this long distance any better." She said, "You're better off having long distance in both eyes than getting a pair of glasses just when you want to read."
Okay.
So I said, okay. So that's what I'm going to do. And then she checked me and they do, you know what they do? They blow in your eye. Do you know what I think? Somebody should do a comedy sketch about a girl optician because she gets this close to you when she's looking in your eye. It's like she's going to kiss you. You know what I mean? You had it done, haven't you?
Well, actually, my optician is a guy called Austin Roberts. Now,
Oh, you don't want to kiss him?
No, well, Austin is, obviously, he's been out of the army for a long time, but he used to be a PT trainer for like the SAS and the Commando. So he used to train them, you know.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean, he could kill me with one hand. Okay. So
So,
when I'm
one
looking,
finger.
when I'm looking at the board, he's got all these different letters.
Yeah.
And he says, like, is that one is the top line better than the bottom line? I'm going,
Yeah.
well, what do you think? Whatever you say. Because I'm not going to argue with him, am I? I'm not going to argue with Austin.
I mean, she says to me, see the red and the green? I said, no, I'm colourblind.
Are you really?
Which I am.
No way.
Reds, greens and browns, forget it. If I'm playing snooker and hit the brown ball, I think it's red. See? So that's a drawback. Anyhow, but I thought if it's a comedian, because they get so close to you, like she's that far away from my face with the eyes, and then she's doing it, and you think, I can kiss you, you wouldn't even know it.
I think she would, Johnny. I think she would.
Oh, yeah, sure. Anyway, so after that, then I had to go down to the physio then in hospital in Barry.
Right.
Because I've had this bad back ever since I fell off a ladder.
You fell off a ladder? That sounds like an Eric Sykes. That sounds like an Eric Sykes sort of sketch. What happened? Tell us the story.
Well, I was up a tree, right?
What was you up a tree? Hold on a second. You were up a tree. What was Johnny Tudor at 80 years old doing up a tree? I'm not ageist at all.
I was trying to cut the top off.
All right,
anyway,
right.
so I'm up there with a saw on this ladder, and the ladder goes, and it's like I'm going with it. I went, hey! And the whole thing went, and I landed on my back on these stone steps. I thought, oh my God.
No.
So I was in agony. So Owen took me to hospital.
Yeah.
And they immediately put me in a CT scanner because if you fall from a certain height, they got to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't bring anything.
Hey.
But ever since, I've had pain, and it's probably nerve damage or just muscle damage. I don't know. So I've just got to have physio every 5 minutes to get it back in. It'll come back eventually, okay? Because there's nothing drastically done.
Right.
See?
Right. Okay.
And then I got the doctors this afternoon.
For everything else,
I had an endoscopy, didn't I? Where they stick a thing down your throat.
Oh, is that way around? Is that not the colonoscopy? That's the other way around.
No. We don't talk about that. With the endoscopy, they go down to look at my esophagus because I've had a lot of reflux since I was a kid. Yeah. And if you're not careful, it burns and it can turn nasty. So they have to keep an eye on it. Yeah. So every 2 years, they have to go down with this blinking camera.
Right.
And then I've just had, I told you I was getting this arterial fibrillation where your heart like misses a beat.
Yeah.
Well, I've had it for years. Right?
Bumpity 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 bum.
This one goes bump bump bump, miss bump bump bump. And when it's happening, it feels really weird. Like you just met the best looking girl in the world, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah, one of them. So anyway, now I got to have one of these blinking things on me and sleep with it for two days.
Right.
Like they put things on your chest and a little small thing, and it'll check your heart all through the night when you're asleep, just to see what it is. I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Is there anything? I'm trying to think.
Well, that's it.
If there's any other bits that we haven't covered.
I think that's it. We've done eyes, we've done throat, and we've done heart. There's not much more to go.
What about the prostate? No, let's not do that.
Fine. I'm down to 4 on my PSA.
Are you flipping it? Goodness
That's
me.
good, that is.
That's good.
I mean, most people get. I mean, it's like when they tested me when I had this first thing, this heart thing, like
Yeah.
a bit of a skipping a beat. They gave me a particular blood test for heart failure.
Oh.
Right now, it's got to be under something like 580 or something, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Mine was 28. She said, "You're fitter than I am."
Because I was reading something like heart disease is one of the biggest killers, isn't it? And with women as well. I mean, mostly men.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like
Yeah.
one of those diseases that we obviously we think about cancer because it affects people
Yeah.
so drastically. But obviously,
right.
heart failure and heart disease is something
Yeah.
that maybe happens over a longer period and you don't know about it. So it's like,
Yeah. It's very important to keep it on top of everything.
Yeah.
There was something in the paper the other day about some woman, and she I forget what the test was for, but it didn't get any better. And about a year later, she goes to the doctor, and they hadn't read the report from the hospital. Somebody in reception had read it. Well, she wasn't like qualified to say what it was, so it was ignored.
wow.
I mean, you got to be on top of your own health.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, your interactions, your experience of the National Health Service, good?
Oh, listen, I can't complain. I mean, they're spot on,
Yeah.
I mean, they say this bad and all. I know that they're overworked and all that, Mark, but I've been seen. There was no problem.
Yeah.
And if I ring my doctor and say, I'll ring him in the morning, say something wrong. Right, what is it? Oh, we get him to ring you back. So he rings back. And if he thinks you need to go in, he'll say, come in now.
Yeah. And
So, I can't complain about my doctor. He's fantastic. Well, they're all 6 of them in there, but they're all good,
Yeah, and that's the thing.
So next week, I'm on an injection of my knee because my knee is hurting from tap dancing.
I knew there was something we must have left out. It's like it must be difficult for Olwyn, Christmas. What do you give the man who's got everything?
Heart attack.
Oh, good stuff.
She's working on a play at the moment. She's asked to do an R&D on a play next week.
Right, explain how that works now in R&D, because you've done a couple of these R&Ds.
An R&D is a research and development. In other words, it's a workshop. It's a flash name for a workshop.
Right.
So you go in with a bunch of actors
Yes.
and a director, and you just read the script, and then you work on it. And people put in their fourpenneth and say, well, what if I did it like this way? And they try to develop it.
Right.
That's what it is. And then they go on to perhaps do it again later. But because I've done the one for Toy Mike Trev, I've done 2.
Yes.
And now I got to do another one. So I'm on the 3rd R&D on that. So it looks like with a bit of luck, touch wood, they're getting near the finishing line to be able to put it out, you see.
And what are there, just for people who've never been through that experience, how much does it change in between every time?
Well, the script will change, I suppose, because there'll be cuts, there'll be things that didn't work, so they'll take it out and they'll tighten something up, and that we can go straight from that bit to this bit because that's a bit superfluous. It just becomes tighter and more,
honed.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Are we allowed to say? We're not allowed to say what Olwyn's show's about, are we?
I don't know what it's called myself. She's up there at the moment reading a script.
Well, fair play.
She did the audition on Zoom, as we all have to do these days.
Yeah.
And she's not too happy because she's got some very fruity language, which is not always stuff. It's like a bit heavy, this language. But when she's acting, she says, it's not me saying this. You know that, do you?
Absolutely.
It's my character.
Absolutely. Is she good at learning lines?
Oh, yeah, she's fantastic. Better than me.
Yeah.
She was called in last year to do an episode of Casualty, okay?
Yes.
What had happened, the woman who was going to do it, who was older than Olwen, decided she couldn't learn it because it was too much, and she chickened out.
Right.
So they rang Olwen, and she had to learn the part in like no time, like a day. And she did it.
Wow.
She went and did it.
Wow.
She did the same thing in the Sherman a couple of years back. The woman had a stroke, and they rang her up, and they said, could you do this? And she said, well, I'll have a look at the script. Yes. So she said, okay. Now, they've been in rehearsals for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
This was 4 days she had to learn this.
Wow.
And she said, don't matter if you have to do it with the script, we'll work it. No, I won't do it with the script, she said. And she did it. And she learned the bring it thing.
Amazing.
She got one of these memories, she can do it.
Isn't that amazing? I've always been terrible. learning stuff.
I'm not bad. Yeah. I'm not bad at learning lines, but I'm not quick as her.
Yeah. When I used to do all the things like the Cappuccino Girls and all those shows, they sometimes the other cast members would be like, what's he talking about? Because I knew it was something like it, but because
Oh,
actors.
you were paraphrasing.
Paraphrasing. Yeah, I had the idea of concept of where it was. Because with actors, and this is what I found really interesting compared with musicians, the musicians I've been brought up with, that actors, and in musicals, they want it to be the same every time, don't they? It's got to be the same.
Because they got the cue.
Yeah.
You don't get the cue, you're stuck.
Yeah.
Having said that, if you work with people like Stan Stennett, you'd forget the cues. You don't know what's coming at you. You've got to be on a hard limb. But I know what you mean. If it's a drama, you have to stick to the script.
Yeah. But because the other day I had to do that thing. Remember the thing I did in London with the orchestra and the choir? It was only 13 lines really that I had to do on my own. I was playing the part of Peter in a thing called The Passion, and you know what? I just couldn't get it to stick. I couldn't get it to stick. And I did the whole thing about I went out a little bit early, I went out too early. I did a bit of like method acting, holding my jacket. The next day, having done the 2 shows, the next day, I could not forget it. It's like were all.
Oh, I know.
It's like, oh man, and I kept on singing it then in the right order, not one mistake. I'm thinking, what's the matter with your brain?
Do you know what I find? And I think most people find this: if something is well written, like i.e. lines in a script or lines in a song, and they're logical, they're easy to remember.
Yeah.
If they're illogical, you can't like get a story. They're harder to learn.
Yeah.
Now, what's that song that Billy Joel? It's a really fast one. Something about a
fire. We didn't start.
It's a million words, isn't it?
It's brilliant, isn't it? It's absolutely.
But how would you remember it? I don't know. I wouldn't be able to remember that.
No,
it's like too many words, and they don't join up.
No.
No.
That's a fantastic song. We're back to Elio now, aren't we? Back to Elio's show.
We are, yeah.
That was a good show. All right, man. Well, there we are. Well, look, we're right behind you all the way. On the queue to see the doctor. We hope everything turns out for the best. I hope Alwyn's play R&D, Fruity Language and all goes well. And see you next week.
Okay, and I'll tell you about my R&D coming up. I haven't had the script yet. I've had the old script, but I mean, it's going to be different, so there's no point looking at that one. No point. Because then you have to relearn. That's worse.
Oh, that was
better off.
I always think about poor Mike Doyle. When we did the show The Contender, because I'd done a couple of musicals with Michael Bogdanov, and we didn't do any R&D. We just did it. So we had 4 weeks rehearsal, rewrite. Poor old Mike Doyle had the script as it was on day 1. He learnt it all. Well, of course, by day 3.
Do you know what? It's fatal to do that.
Don't learn it.
I did Aladdin in Cardiff, okay?
Yeah.
In the new theatre, and the guy that was playing the Emperor had never done a pantomime.
Yeah.
So he turned up first day when you open your script, and he'd learnt it over. So he was word perfect.
Yes.
Well, a waste of time. That's cut there. That's cut there. That goes over to there. You don't know the hell he was. Consequently, he missed his cue twice on stage. Where is he? At one point, he's supposed to come on and say, off with his head.
Yeah.
And he's not there. So it all stood there, egg on a face now. And always goes to one of the dancers, shout off with her head, for God's sake, we can't get off the stage. But that's it, you mustn't learn it straight away. You've got to go with it and learn it as you go. See, television now is awful. Television, soaps especially, you get the stuff the day before when you're in and there's no rehearsal. Right. You just showed your mark, showed where you're going, and that's it. You've got to do it. Bang. And I suppose they get used to it. Yeah. But these people who do these soaps every week, I take my hat off.
It's a bit like our show. You never know what's going to happen till
you don't know.
Till the day, actually. Do we start recording, let alone the day before?
I know. We always find something to do.
Always find something. All right. Well, it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from
you.
See ya. Ta-da. Bye.
Ta-da.